Hello and welcome to another episode of the AI Report right here on News9. I'm Claude Claude, and on this episode we will talk about not just all the trends that made it to the news and headlines in the world of artificial intelligence, but also some scary news that we are picking up, especially when it comes to agents going rogue. NVIDIA and xAI to partner with Saudi Arabia's state-backed AI venture Humane to build a massive 500-megawatt data center in the kingdom. The project marks one of the largest Saudi investments in AI infrastructure to date and underscores Riyadh's ambition to become a global hub for artificial intelligence. Paytm CEO Vijay Shekhar Sharma backs Elon Musk's claim that AI would end global poverty. Sharma made the comments at the US Saudi Investment Forum in Washington, where President Trump hosted Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Elon Musk's xAI in advanced talks to raise $15 billion in new equity at a valuation of a mammoth $230 billion. xAI scaling up data center footprints to train more advanced models to catch up with OpenAI's ChatGPT and Anthropic's Claude. Bank of America to spend $4 billion more in new technologies, including AI, to boost productivity and revenue. The bank's 18,000 developers have used AI agents over the past year, reporting significant productivity gains. Paris-based scholars team up with an AI collective to create a theatrical play written in 17th century playwright Molière's style. The team has trained French-developed Mistral AI on Molière's works, personal library texts, and historical documents to replicate his language and humor. The production, The Astrologer or the False Omens, is set to debut at the Château de Versailles in May 2026. Texas Pacific Group and TCS to invest 18,000 crore rupees in Hypervault, Tata Group's new foray into AI data centers. TCS's Hypervault will be funded through a mix of equity from TCS and TPG and additional debt. And Anthropic strikes a mega deal with Microsoft and NVIDIA. Deal includes a $30 billion commitment by Anthropic to Microsoft's cloud service Azure. NVIDIA and Microsoft committing up to a total of $15 billion in the Claude maker. So let's actually begin with the good part first. And the good part is that the valuation of Anthropic has risen as much as 91% in the last 1 week, up from $183 billion to $350 billion on account of major investments into the company by Microsoft as well as NVIDIA, totaling as much as a $15 billion investment, which has made its market capitalization soar by over 91%. From a $183 billion company, it is now valued at a staggering $350 billion. So that was just one news item on Anthropic, but the other one that emerged from the company was a little more sinister in its play. Now, Anthropic has an agentic code called Claude, Claude AI. Some of you might have used it, but what really happened in the week gone by was that apparently some Chinese hackers were able to breach into that Claude ecosystem and were able to actually dish out some confidential information to these threat actors which emerged from China. Now, what does agentic AI really do, and why is this story important? Agentic AI, at the very core of it, is different from generative AI on one count. While agentic and generative both are able to understand, study data, understand data, and follow instructions, where agentic AI scores over generative AI is also that it's able to take decisions. But sometimes those decisions, are they the right calls to take? Are they the wrong calls to take? It seemingly becomes difficult for the agentic AI to be able to clearly decipher that. So as a result, some emails that came to Claude and entered Claude's code were mistaken for instructions from friendly actors, and certain confidential information relating to some corporates, including a chemical manufacturing company as well as a government agency, were dished out accidentally, perhaps. But the question that we really ask today on the show is, should agents, AI agents, be trusted with confidential information? And what is it going to cost companies as well as users of agentic AI to make sure that their data is absolutely safe and secure? And who else to discuss this with than Mr. Pradeep Gupta, the chairman of Cyber Media, who joins us on this episode of the AI Report. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for your time, sir. I want to start with this entire episode at Anthropic that unfolded with Claude getting breached and the larger question about agentic AI taking decisions on the behalf of humans, but perhaps without the experience and the assessment of whether the decision taken is in sync with what the company needs it to do, and what if it goes rogue, like the case that we just saw.
It was not Chinese hackers. Anthropic statement is very clear. It was Chinese state sponsor, and they also identified a group called GTG 1002, which was actually behind that entire thing. Now, the first thing, of course, that anybody who is trying to enter into a system does is that he has to come in as a trusted source. Okay, so what you do is that you compromise VPNs so that it appears that this message is coming from a trusted source. So now if I'm a company, maybe there are universities which are my trusted source. There are, government department which could be trusted source. There could be a friend circle which could be a trusted source. And therefore they disguise themselves and they come in as messages which are coming from trusted sources.
Right.
So that's first. Now, Claude has been used in a very interesting manner.
Yeah.
The idea is to keep simple messages going on there to try and confuse the AI sitting on the other side. Therefore, it appears that these are simple queries that are being made, and so what you do is that you do breach, you do sort of these breaches are coming from trusted sources, and therefore you get into detection of various vulnerabilities which are there in the system. Once you identify those vulnerabilities in the system, then you can manipulate. Okay, and so Claude has been manipulated, and this entire thing has not been done by human intervention.
Right.
All of this has been done actually using AI. Let me again take a simple sort of an example. That I have Superman in front of me, right? Now, if I can try out 135 periodic table elements and therefore realize that he's vulnerable to kryptonite, right? Now, if I was to do it physically, it would take me a long time. But if I can do it as an AI, and if I can manipulate, then I know that this is the vulnerability which is there.
That's right.
So essentially, Claude has been used to find out the vulnerabilities in the system.
Right. The larger questions that then emerges, sir, that it's a clear example of machine versus machine with hardly any human intervention. Now, when you're trying to make a smarter system, which could be an agentic AI, there are also agentic hacks which are emerging almost at the same pace. And larger question really is that, is it too early to let go of human beings from these critical functions? And is agentic AI not ready yet for use in critical information and decision making on the basis of critical information, sir?
You can't do away with agentic AI, because if you want to use AI within your systems, if you want to make sense of your data, then you will have to use agentic AI. Okay. And yes, there will be threats which will be coming, which will be these AI-based automated threats. And you also need to build defenses, which are also AI-enabled defenses. And you have to look at patterns which are different, and based upon those different kind of patterns, this is what happened in this case only. They found that there were different levels of activities that were taking place in certain sites, and therefore decided that some intervention was required. Right. So while you can't wish away agents, because you will need agents definitely, otherwise you cannot use AI in a sensible manner. But then there will be rogue agents, and therefore you need to build defenses against those rogue agents as well.
Right. So what should companies do, sir? I want to sort of leave our viewers with that final sort of message coming from you, that what should companies, what should startups, what should organizations which are actually deploying these agents really do? Because at one point the belief was that come agents, come agentic AI, and you have these agents working round the clock 7 days a week, 365 days a year. At the end of the day, what should companies do? What should organizations do to have their antennae up and form these guardrails to make sure that these breaches are thwarted before they actually become breaches?
The matter is more complex than that, because now there is a DPDP requirement also.
Right.
Because you are responsible for leaking, not just, you can't just get away by saying that there was a breach.
But still 18 months away, sir, and it's seen that these technologies are evolving much faster than regulations around them.
So this is a chore sipahi game, a cops and robber game, which is there. Robbers will become smart, then cops will have to get smarter, then robbers will become still smarter. So this is something that will go on. So the answer to this is that you have to benefit from AI, but then you have to build up a whole lot of protections against that.
And that may require another agentic AI working on fixing those breaches, wouldn't it, sir?
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. Pradeep Gupta, always a pleasure having you here with us on News9. Sir, thank you so much for your time. And of course, we will keep inviting you back on the AI Report as and when we discover more such stories around cybersecurity, around cyber threat, and the rise of the machine. But for today, thank you so much for your time, sir. With that, we will slip into a very short break, but a lot more coming up on the other side, especially this new threat of an AI bubble, which some investors are being warned of, that it's indeed a bubble which might burst soon. Recent company valuations and the hit on Wall Street on Magnificent Seven and big tech companies suggests that perhaps the circumstances could become more dire from here on. We'll get you that on the other side of the break. You're watching the AI Report.